Hello everyone and welcome to Cheap Pops.
I'm Nick. This is our Halloween episode.
What are you doing?
Happy Halloween.
You definitely look better with the mask on. That's yes, this is our Halloween episode, and if you say, oh, well, he's dressed up and Dave's not, I actually am. I have an explanation for this. The South Park shirt, I am Golga from WWF Unmasked. So there you go. You can't say that I'm not wearing a costume. So we are going to be talking about some of our, favorite Halloween stuff, and right now, behind the hard camera, we have Friday the 13th. Jason goes to... Was it Jason Takes Manhattan?
Yes, Jason Takes Manhattan.
Yeah, might not be the best one, but actually it's my favorite one. I just love the absurdity of him going to New York City, but...
Yes.
So... you want to go right into the movie reviews?
Sure.
Okay. So, behind me, Five Nights at Freddy's poster. I went into this with an open mind. I'm not much into the horror genre, even though I wouldn't really consider that a horror movie. I would consider it more of a thriller, but...
Yes, and it was really good.
I thought, I really enjoyed it. It's really usually not my thing, but the animatronic aspect of it I really liked, and I thought it was really good. So
yes. And
there is a sequel that's going to happen. It's going to be released in December of next year. So,
ooh.
Yeah, so I think that'll be good. I never played the game, but for a lot of game movies like Borderlands, I never played that either, and I like the movie, so I don't always think you need to play the game to get the canon of the movie.
No.
I think you can just enjoy it as a movie. So, and then you had to have... Well, actually, no, I suggested this, didn't I?
Yes.
I suggested this. He made me watch the first Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey movie.
Yes, I twitched your arm about it.
Yes, you did. And it was horrible. Hot garbage, just bad. But this one, I actually enjoyed a little bit. They fleshed out the background of Winnie the Pooh and all the other characters more. I think this one went a little slower, but still, I like the story of it, and having Tigger be one of the main, people that was doing the killing, I thought was actually pretty good. So, if they do more of these, I'll watch them just for the absurdity of them, but it was okay.
By the looks of it, they might have like an evil Mickey Mouse one.
Yeah, I think it's a different company, but...
It's called Mousetrap.
Yeah, but I thought it was okay, so... what are you going to do?
Right.
I'm not much into the horror movies. He loves them. Mainly Friday the 13th, right?
Yes.
But movies like this,
yes,
I really enjoy, and I believe this works for Halloween. The Grindhouse double feature of Death Proof and Planet Terror. Death Proof, for me, it goes really slow in the beginning because Tarantino really likes dialogue, and it goes heavy into dialogue for I'd say for the first hour of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But once it gets going, it really gets going, and it's an amazing car chase thriller, almost horror flick. And then Planet Terror is straight up absurd, grindhouse zombie movie, which is just amazing. So I would highly recommend this on Blu-ray. $10 on Walmart.com.
Which is not bad.
And if you've got Walmart Plus, it ships right to you. So I really love this. I think I talked about this one on last year's Halloween episode.
Critters!
This right here is one of my favorite movie franchises of all time. And if you watch the first Ninja Turtles movie, what does Raphael go see? He goes and sees Critters. So,
and where do people come up with this stuff?
Yeah, exactly. But Critters, what is it, Critters 2 or Critters 3? Critters 3 is the first film ever with Leonardo DiCaprio. So they're little like fuzzballs, piranha-like. They got like piranha-like teeth, and they come down from space and they terrorize a farm town. It's absurd and it's wonderful. Just like Tremors and movies like that. Just so good in so many ways.
I have to say the most funniest one, number 2. Number 2 is always going to be the most funniest.
Number 2 is great. I actually think Tremors 2 is better than Tremors 1. But yes, Critters 2 I believe is better than... But the movies of the 80s where they were doing the horror films, and it was just a genre that really took off in the 80s and into the early 90s. Stuff today, I'll watch some, but to me the 80s was really the peak of slasher/horror movies.
And speaking of good, like, 80 campy horror films of 80s, Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
That is just chef's kiss of a, and this is Shorty from the Killer Clowns from Outer Space. You can find the DVD cheap, like really cheap. I'm sure it's streaming somewhere. I would say watch it because it's just so good. And
speaking of like 80 horror films and stuff, they're doing video games of it now.
Right, I forgot this. I'm gonna turn him on. Shy Guy.
And they got Killer Clowns from Outer Space available now.
Right.
I'm thinking about picking it up.
Oh, nice. Any other games that you've been playing lately?
Squirrel with a Gun. And yes, it sounds exactly...
yeah, you told me about that one.
And I've also been digging more into Astrobot. I'm stuck on one of the boss levels right now.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll figure it out.
Yes. And I want to dive more back into the Star Wars Outlaw. Yeah. I know a lot of people are crapping on it, but hey, just play the game and have fun. Whatever happened to those days?
Yeah, exactly. Sometime this week I'm going to download GTA 4 and GTA 5 because I've never played those. I got stuck in San Andreas and I just kind of gave up on GTA for a while, so I'm going to play those. And I don't have a lot of time to play games because I work nights and, I sleep during the day, but I do want to start getting back into playing games again.
2 games I know that you'll also like from Rockstar. The Red Dead Redemption 1 and 2.
Yeah, I know. You love those ones.
Yes, because I love the Old West. I don't have that tattooed on me for nothing.
Yeah. But we are going tomorrow. We're going to hang out again, and we are going to a video game store in Whitehall, New York. So, and we're going to record some video. Hopefully, if I can get it all set up right, we're going to record us playing some games. I kind of want to bust out the Sega Genesis and play some old school Sega games. So what I plan to do, if I have it all set up right, is there will be the actual video of the game we're playing, and we will have our audio over the top of it. Because I now have a program on my laptop where I can record the video directly off the console that we're playing, instead of before where we were having the camera pointed at the TV, which I admit was pretty ghetto, but we were having fun with it, so if you can look... The whole setup's kind of ghetto. We're just having fun here, folks. So, one thing I did receive today, actually a couple things. First of all, before I do that, I've talked about it before. I plan on I have a Cheap Pops hockey jersey. He does too, but his is black, mine is white, because I'm not racist, and he's racist.
Hey!
I'm just saying, I'm just kidding. But what I plan on doing is have pop culture patches on one side, and then wrestling patches on the other. One sleeve, and then the other sleeve. Just because we talk about all kinds of stuff on here, so that's what I'm going to do. So today I received a Bullet Club patch and an Inner Circle patch from AEW. Back when Jericho was actually kind of entertaining. He's not now.
Now he can just go away like Nia Jax.
Yeah, and he's the new Ring of Honor World Champion, which is just... no, I don't want to see any of that.
Nope.
But
I'm stealing more candy.
Unfortunately, we're going to have to see it, so... But this... I had this at some point, and I do not know what happened to it. So, ECW, Path of Destruction, Uncensored. Yes, ECW had their own DVDs. This is not a bootleg. This is not something that WWE came out with. They had their own distribution in 2000. Rob Van Dam on the cover. Chris Jericho versus Too Cold Scorpio versus Pitbull No. 2 versus Shane Douglas from 1996.
That was a really good match.
Rob Van Dam versus Bam Bam Bigelow.
Ooh.
Sabu versus the Sandman. Sabu probably made the match good, because Sandman certainly didn't. Ian Rotten versus Axel Rotten. A Taipei death match.
That is a really good one if you ever get a chance to watch it.
If you don't know what a Taipei death match is, Google it, kids. It's tremendous. Jerry Lynn versus Tajiri versus Super Crazy. Tajiri and Super Crazy, along with Little Guido, in my opinion, were the kings of the three-way in ECW.
Absolutely.
Dean Malenko versus Eddie Guerrero from 1995. You want to see a classic match before those guys went to WCW? Check this out. I got this on eBay. I believe it was like $15. You can find this, and you can find. I mean, this doesn't have a fingerprint or a scratch on it, so I left a really good review for the guy that sold it to me. This is really good. And the other match, Psychosis versus Rey Mysterio Jr.
Ooh.
You want to see where the start of the Cruiserweight division developed?
ECW.
Developed in ECW, and it's not one of their best matches against each other because they went all over the arena. But this is where people first saw Rey Mysterio and Psychosis for the first time. Well, maybe the Worlds Collide pay-per-view, but
they weren't calling him Psychosis. They were calling him Psychosis.
Yeah, because I guess that. Well, I'm not going to be like WCW and say Ultimate Dragon instead of Ultimo Dragon, but I never pronounced it Psychosis. It was always Psychosis to me. But so this is really cool. I really think other people should pick this up because it's really good. Have you seen that? Have you watched any wrestling lately?
Bits and pieces on YouTube because Hulu's being a pain in the ass.
I really like where they're going with the Bloodline storyline.
Yes.
The Bloodline with Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu cost Jey Uso the Intercontinental title on Raw. So then Jey Uso goes to SmackDown and reunites with his brother Jimmy and Roman Reigns. And now it looks like they're going to bring Sami Zayn into the fold as well. You've got War Games coming up at Survivor Series. That'd be 4-on-4. You don't need to bring in another Samoan at this point.
No.
Sami Zayn was so ingrained with the Bloodline storyline. You can have him feeling oozy again. I think it's perfect. You don't need 5-on-5. You don't need to bring Cody Rhodes or anybody else into this. Sami Zayn and the original Bloodline.
Yes.
That's the new Bloodline. If they do it, I have to say Jacob Fatu is going to do something crazy off the top of the cage. Without a doubt, you know it's going to happen. And Tonga Loa is going to screw something up in the match. Crown Jewel is coming up. We're going to do a preview of that after. Well, at some point. I gotta have me some candy. We got our candy bowl because it's Halloween.
Yes.
There's a lot going on in wrestling. AEW is okay. I said they needed a hard reset. They're resetting some things, but this stuff with Jon Moxley doing the cryptic stuff and then them putting a bag over Bryan Danielson's head not once but twice. I can kind of understand what they're doing. It's long-term storytelling, but to me it's just not interesting.
It's long-term booking.
Jon Moxley, to me, was only interesting when he was Dean Ambrose, and that was only when he was with The Shield. To me, he's just kind of there for me. And AEW has a lot of good talent, and they do have some things for them, but there's also a lot that they could improve. I'm going to continue to watch it because I really like it. Like, there's a tag team called the Outrunners, which is they're playing like an 80s gimmick. I really like them. They've got the FTR. They've got my favorite wrestler currently, Deonna Purrazzo. They've got a lot of good women wrestlers. They've got a lot of they got Will Ospreay and Ricochet. There's a lot going for it that could be going for it, and they really need to pull.
And let's not forget Darby Allin. Darby
Allin's great. I mean, Adam Cole, MJF. I don't want to say Hangman Page because I really don't like Hangman. But you got the Bullet, not the Bullet Club anymore. They're the Bang Bang Gang.
And you got Adam Cole back.
Adam Cole's back. I really think that there's a lot that they could be doing. I'm kind of hoping that in 2025 they really change some things. And, of course, I'm always going to watch it because I love wrestling. And unless it gets really, really bad. Unless Chris Jericho is on every segment of the show, with his learning tree crap. It's just...
You mean like how bad it was with that live event that we went to with how much he was talking?
Oh, yeah. When Hook won the TNT title, or the FTW title, we were at that show and Jericho talked way too long. I'll always watch AEW as long as it's interesting, but WWE has far surpassed it lately.
Yes.
I keep up with TNA. TNA just had Bound for Glory.
And they're doing really good.
Spoiler alert. The Hardys are the new TNA Tag Champions. Masha Slamovich is the new Knockouts World Champion. I haven't watched it yet, so we'll see how that goes.
I'm hoping that they pulled the trigger on Joe Henry.
Oh, Joe Hendry, yeah. I would like to see that. I don't know. I kind of think they're going with Nick Nemeth or Dolph Ziggler.
Whatever his fucking name is now.
Yeah. Well, he can't use Dolph Ziggler, but TNA is really good. I've said this before. I'll keep saying it. More and more people should be watching TNA.
Yes.
It's a really good product. I just wish it was on a better network. But their pay-per-views are always good. You'll hear a familiar voice. Todd Phillips, who used to... Well, he's not Todd Phillips in TNA, but it was Todd Phillips in WWE. And Matthew Raywalt, who was Aiden English in NXT and in WWE. They're the announce team. I think they do a really good job. I think TNA is really something that people shouldn't sleep on. It's a really good promotion.
Yes.
And of course, WWE to me is always going to be, well, now that they've got the new regime in with Triple H, it's going to be good.
Absolutely.
He hasn't watched Halloween Havoc for NXT yet. I have. I thought it was a really, really good show.
Like I said it once, I'm going to say it again. I would watch more NXT if it wasn't for Booker T. I just can't stand to listen to Booker T on commentary.
Yeah, I mean, Booker T is grating. He tries to be a heel announcer sometimes, and it doesn't work. And he just, like, Trick Williams has got really cool entrance music, and the crowd chants, "Whoop that trick." And Booker T has to go, "Yeah, man, yeah," after every single time the crowd says, "Whoop that trick." If he would stop doing that, it would make the entrance that much better, because then you can hear the music and hearing the crowd saying, "Whoop that trick." To me, that would be better. Just my opinion as a wrestling fan that watches the show. Obviously, Booker doesn't. But then again, if you listen to Booker T's podcast, pretty much every opinion that he has, I disagree with. So, what are you going to do? Let me see. What else? What else you got? Because you brought stuff with you. Go right ahead.
The new Bray Wyatt Fiend shirt.
Oh, you didn't even tell me that you got this.
There's the back of it.
Oh, with is that a moth or something?
Firefly.
Oh, Firefly. Okay.
Then we got the fucking front.
That's cool. I like that.
I loved it.
Didn't they just do a new
DLC
for the Fiend? Yeah, for the game.
This looks sick, and the character itself in the game looks phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean. That's an easy. I think that's really an easy character for them to model in the game. So
yes, and that shirt looks sick.
No, that's really cool. I like that a lot. That's and the money goes to his family, so that's that's really good. So I like that. Is that all you brought, or did you bring more with you?
Well, these were the other ones I brought.
We've got the head from Alien, which is the popcorn thing from the movie. We didn't get a chance to go see the new Alien movie, but I'm sure we'll review it when it comes out on streaming or.
Speaking of movies we want to go see, the new Venom movie, and I want that popcorn cup. I really do.
Yeah, I think the stuff that they've been coming out with merchandise for a lot of these movies,
merchandising,
has been really good. Oh, okay, I'll do a plug right now. cheappops.redbubble.com, and we have merchandise with our logo and other logos that we had made, like a Double Dare inspired logo and a G.I. Joe inspired logo, a Blow Pop inspired logo. Not this one, this is a Tootsie Pop. But that is my personal favorite because that came out of my head. And, well, they all kind of came out, but...
out of both of our heads?
But I think we have cool logos, and buy a sticker, buy a shirt,
I still want to do a WrestleMania logo.
Yes, you have mentioned that. And
because that would work good. In the wrestling game.
Yes, it would. Yes, it would. And he created a couple of, 2 or 3, right, arenas with our logos on them, which are really cool. We are going to an event called the Wrestling Classic It will be in Springfield, Massachusetts. And it's on November, I want to say 16th. I should have written this down. Some of the people that were going to be there, like Shelton Benjamin and the like, pulled out due to a certain promoter that was kicked out of the event. However, there are still going to be a lot of good names. Let me pull. I think I have the poster here still. Let's see. Well, Tony Atlas is going to be there.
Sweet.
Chris Wildcat Chris Harris. Say that 3 times fast. From TNA, a TNA original, America's Most Wanted, and he was Braden Walker in the WWE ECW for a Cup of Coffee. Allie, formerly known as the Bunny from AEW, is going to be there. Oh crap! I thought I had the poster. Oh well, there's the Boogie Woogie Man, Jimmy Valiant is going to be there. Harvey Whippleman is going to be there.
Jay Briscoe, no,
Gerald Briscoe's not going to be there.
Oh no,
no, he's not because he was with that promoter.
Damn it!
The King and JR are going to be there. I already paid for him to get a meet and greet with JR. Harvey Whippleman, Masha Slamovich, the new TNA Knockouts champion. There's a lot of other names. You can go on Facebook and look up Zombie Hideout or Captain's Corner. Or just look up the Wrestling Classic. It's Wrestling Classic 5. We did tables at 2 of them. We're just going as fans this time. We're going to go and meet a lot of people, and we're going to have fun. So
next time, people, we might have a table.
Yeah, I'd like to do another table, but I'm excited to meet Harvey Whippleman. That's gonna be really, really cool. So,
would you like to show off what I got you?
I guess. I mean,
it's Halloweeny.
This sticker is pretty cool. My favorite movie is Scarface. So it's Scarface with a bunch of money around him wearing a Jason mask. This is pretty cool. I do like this a lot, so thank you for that.
And I want to thank you for this.
Yeah, the Hulk Hogan Wolfpack Funko.
Yes. Ooh, they got a Mr. America one.
Yeah, the Mr. America looks pretty cool too. I kind of want the Lex Luger one too. But
you don't want Dom Dom?
No, I don't want Dominic Mysterio. Do you want to go into your next picks? Grab your sign.
Ba 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 da.
I still love that sign. I think that's one of the best logos we've done.
Yes.
Shout out to Teresa. I'll have to put a link to her Etsy page on one of our descriptions because she's done all our well, not all our logos. Dave Cole, independent wrestler, did that logo, but she's done all our other logos.
Can I say it? Dave Cole, babies.
Well, he's a little bit different than that Cole. So I picked one because I wanted to pick one, and he picked one. He picked Halloween Havoc 1998. I picked Halloween Havoc 1990. So which do you want to do, yours or mine first?
Let's go do the good, the bad, then the ugly.
So Halloween Havoc 1990.
Yes.
From the Chicago UIC Pavilion, JR and Paul Lee on commentary. They had a red ring canvas, which just looked weird to me. Yeah. But, what are you going to do? The opening match is Ricky Morton and Tommy Rich versus the Midnight Express. At this point, Robert Gibson of the Midnight Express was injured, so Tommy Rich was... I never knew who Tommy Rich was until later in life, but it was a good tag match. Morton and Rich just didn't feel good as a team. Especially when you're so used to Robert Gibson being Ricky Morton's partner. The Southern Boys interfered, and Ricky Morton and Tommy Rich got the win. So,
and to remind you people, this is pretty good like NWO, and this is still when they were like the Southern Wrestling.
Yeah, this is right after, like a year after Ted Turner bought WCW.
Yes.
So, And then they did like an interview with Sting, and then the Black Scorpion came out and did a stupid magic trick where the Black Scorpion and a woman disappear and then reappear on the other side of the building, which is dumb because they pretty much just dropped the curtain, they were gone, and then they ran around the back of the stage and came up on the other side of the stage. I think I could have figured that one out myself, but what are you going to do? The Black Scorpion was just horrible to begin with. The Renegade Warriors versus the Freebirds. This is back when you could do an Indian gimmick, and it was politically correct. I don't know if it was ever politically correct, but and the Freebirds in this case were Michael Hayes and Jimmy Garvin. I kind of liked that version of the Freebirds. It was so campy that I liked it. Old school tag match psychology.
We know that you like campy because of Rap is Crap.
Yeah, that's... the Freebirds won with a DDT. This, to me, was the match of the night. The U.S. tag titles, the Nasty Boys against the Steiners. You want to talk about an amazing match in 1990. Peak Nasty Boys against peak Steiners. Come on. It was pretty much a tornado match. They were letting these guys do whatever they wanted to do. The Steiners retained with a Frankensteiner, and then the Nasty Boys attacked them after the match. The next match for the World Tag Titles, Ric Flair and Arn Anderson against Doom, which is Ron Simmons and Butch Reed. We're going to be seeing Ron Simmons at the Wrestling Classic, so that's pretty cool. I've met both Rick and Arn Anderson. You went with for the Arn Anderson one, and I've also met Ron Simmons before. So that's Butch Reed. Well, he passed away, so no chance of meeting him unless I go to his gravesite, and that's kind of morbid, so that won't happen. But it's Halloween, so
you morbid bastard.
I am. I'm just an asshole. I mean, it's Ric Flair and Arn Anderson on one side, and then you've got Ron Simmons and Butch Reed, two huge professionals on the other side. It's an amazing tag match. The WCW had a stacked tag division at this point. I mean, you had the Steiners, you had the Nasty Boys, you had Doom, you had Ric Flair and Arn Anderson, and sometimes they would switch Sid in and out of there. They just had so much going on. It was such a great tag division. I can't name all the teams, but it was really, really good. It was a double count out, not the way I would really want it to go, but what are you going to do? This match was crazy. The U.S. title, Stan Hansen against Lex Luger. If you've never seen a Stan Hansen match, Google Stan Hansen because his stuff is crazy. He popped Vader's eye out of the socket in a match in Japan once. And if you really want to see something great with Stan Hansen, watch Hulk Hogan's movie No Holds Barred. And all I'll say is, teeny wanger. Perfect. One of the greatest lines ever in the movie. So he did a great performance in that. It was a good brawl, and then Danny Spivey came out with a bull rope and a cowbell and hit Lex Luger. I don't know what the context is with that. I wasn't watching WCW in 1990, but Hansen won the U.S. title with the lariat. That's definitely something that I was surprised about.
And the surprising, they don't call it a lariat anymore.
Right. Yeah, that's true. I mean, they do for Dustin Rhodes in AEW, but it was usually reserved for like the Texans or anybody from the South that they would call it a lariat. And the main event for the world title, this to me is peak Sid. Sid against Sting.
You don't like Goldberg.
No, I don't.
Goldberg.
I don't. Even though that match with Sid and Goldberg at Halloween Havoc 1999 was really amazing. So, but Sid is incredibly over. I mean, he was pretty much over wherever he went. But this crowd was supposed to be booing him, and they loved him against Sting. So, Barry Windham came out looking exactly like Sting at one point, and he got pinned really quickly by Sid, so it looked like there was a world title change. Sid was announced as the champ, but the match got restarted, and Sid retained the title. So all in all, what did you think of this one?
It was really good.
Yeah, I mean, WCW from that era can really be hit or miss, especially 90, 91, but they had a lot of talent at that point. Well, I mean, I would say they had a lot of talent a lot of the time. But you get into like 94 when Hogan brought in all his buddies, and the main event of Starrcade is Hulk Hogan against Brutus the Barber Beefcake as the Butcher, you know. And you've got like Honky Tonk Man against Johnny B. Bad. Not that there's anything wrong with the Honky Tonk Man or Johnny B. Bad. Johnny B. Bad is one of my favorite characters.
Yes.
Then again, so is the Honky Tonk Man. But WCW could be hit or miss at times. Like I said, I was watching that Halloween Havoc from 1999. It wasn't a really good pay-per-view. That was when Vince Russo was starting to book, and it was pretty much like an episode of Nitro, which we're going to be talking about in your pick. So, you picked Halloween Havoc 1998. Did you pick it just to torture me?
Yes.
To make me watch this 3-hour piece of crap?
Yes.
Okay. So, my first thought...
This is for making me watch it Winnie the Pooh 2.
You made me watch the first one, which was a steaming pile of dog shit. At least the number 2 was better.
Yes, it was.
Okay.
But I got to pick on you.
No, you don't really.
Yes,
Jason's killing a naked woman right
Woo!
now. Yeah.
You know what the fucked up part is with this? He's going to break glass. She has plenty of chance to run. And she's just slowly... You have plenty of time to run.
Yeah, well,
To quote Scary Movies 1, run, bitch, run!
Well, you're using logic in these movies, and there's not a lot of logic. I mean,
Run, bitch, run!
I mean, Michael Myers walked like, he was stuck in molasses and a foot of snow, and people couldn't get away from him, so, what are you going to do? But, the first thought is... What's the first thing you see on this pay-per-view? The Nitro Girls. Why? Why? It's a fucking pay-per-view. Why are the Nitro Girls dancing at the beginning? And then Mean Gene interviews Rick Steiner.
Oh my
That's
God.
how you start off the pay-per-view. And they do an angle where Buff Bagwell comes out and wants to be Rick Steiner's partner against Scott Steiner.
It felt like in the beginning of the 90s or 90s WCW right there.
Right, and I said...
Early 90s.
I wrote, this angle with Buff and Rick Steiner couldn't have been done on Nitro or Thunder to set up the pay-per-view?
Really?
You're doing this at the beginning? And then they say, oh, well, this is an added match for the TV title, Chris Jericho against Raven. Chris Jericho against Raven. I'm not complaining. Good match.
It was a really good match.
It was a good match. And Raven tapped out immediately to the Lion Tamer. They were doing a story where Raven was, just immediately tapping out to stuff, which Raven was always an enigma, so I think it made sense. But,
yes.
And then Hogan comes out for an interview. Like I said, feels more like a Nitro than a pay-per-view.
Speaking of the Nitro, did you happen to see the shirt that he was wearing?
Yeah, it said NWO and Monday Nitro on it. I really like that shirt.
I really liked it too.
And then Meng versus Wrath. Wrath, also known as Adam Bomb, first wrestler I ever met. Awesome. See him on this, this stage. Meng, Haku, one of the toughest men on the planet. Many would say the toughest man on the planet. Good big man match. But to me, it's a Nitro match.
Yes.
Why is it here? Wrath won with the Meltdown, which is a pump handle slam. The fact that he could do that to a guy like Meng, hugely impressive. Good match, but why?
Right? Why?
There was no story to this whatsoever. They weren't doing anything with Meng at this point. At least in 2000, Russo having Meng be the hardcore champion, and they were kind of making a story about how tough he was. That made sense. This right here doesn't make sense to me. And then, Disco Inferno against Juventud Guerrera. Disco, great gimmick. The disco gimmick, one of the best theme songs, one of the best theme songs Jimmy Hart ever did. Disco Fever! Just tremendous. And the winner challenges Kidman later on in the night. Disco Inferno wins. You couldn't have done that on Nitro. You had to add this match in. And we're going to talk about why I'm saying all of this later. If you've never seen this pay-per-view or don't know anything about it. And then, more Nitro girls. And I wrote, this is a fucking Nitro, not a pay-per-view. What is going on? And now, Scott Steiner does a promo and makes it a tag match for the tag titles with the Giant as his tag partner. And I wrote, why couldn't all of this been done on Nitro or Thunder? How is this a pay-per-view?
Right.
If I paid for that, I would be pissed right about now, because I'd be like, I could see all of this on Nitro or Thunder.
Exactly. And sad part is you could have chose the WWF pay-per-view.
Right. Fit Finlay against Alex Wright. Nothing against these two guys, but at this point I was like, fuck it, and I fast-forwarded through this entire match. I've met Fit Finlay. Cool dude. Alex Wright. Amazing athlete. You want to watch a really good match with Alex Wright? Watch him against Jean-Paul Levesque from Starrcade 1994. Or him against Arn Anderson for the TV title. Awesome match. Alex Wright against Paul Roma in WCW. Amazing.
And he also had a match with Ultimo Dragon.
Yes. He had a lot of great matches. His tag team as the Dancing Fools with Disco Inferno. Funny-ass stuff. Not so much when they changed him to Berlin, but what are you going to do? It was Vince Russo booking at the time.
Yeah.
But Alex Wright won. I fast-forwarded through this. Sorry. This pay-per-view was 3 hours and 15 minutes. Back when those pay-per-views were not that long. So, and then another special added match, Lodi versus Saturn. I get that the Flock had just broken up and it was Perry Saturn that broke up the Flock and Lodi wanted revenge. I wrote again, this is a fucking episode of Nitro. I'm going to hammer that home because it's fucking ridiculous. I wrote unnecessary match. This pay-per-view was so poorly booked. And Saturn won. Right outcome, because Lodi was a lackey and did nothing.
Yeah.
So, carried his signs and all that shit. So, and then Nitro Girls, again. Again. What? No. And then the Cruiserweight title, Disco Inferno against Kidman. Okay match. Kidman won with the Shooting Star, and I wrote, did we need to see Disco 2 times?
No.
Nothing against him. He might be a cool dude, but I did not need to see him wrestle twice in one pay-per-view. Do you even know what the next match was?
Vaguely.
The tag titles, Big Papa Scott
tag
Steiner,
titles.
and The Giant against Rick Steiner and Buff Bagwell.
Sorry, I was kind of recapping at the same time I was getting my new tattoo done.
Yeah. Buff Bagwell turned on Rick Steiner with a low blow. Who didn't see that coming? The Giant missed a missile drop kick and hit Scott Steiner instead.
Tremendous!
The fact that that man could do a missile drop kick off the top rope, worth the price of admission right there.
Now that was a pay-per-view quality drop kick right there.
That was a good match. Rick Steiner wins the tag titles all alone, and with that win, he gets a match with Scott Steiner. Buff Bagwell comes out in a suit and a Bill Clinton mask. This was back when Bill Clinton was still president. And Rick still wins with a top rope bulldog. So that was okay. To me, this next match is my favorite match. You said you wanted to talk about this match further. Scott Hall against Kevin Nash, the former Outsiders. What would you like to say about this match?
They could have done this match without the gimmick of bringing in Scott Hall's actual real life demons of drinking.
I agree. They could have made a special, story out of it without bringing in his drinking. He could have just betrayed him, and then Nash could have, been like, you've disappointed me. I thought we were brothers, stuff like that. You're going down the wrong path. You're listening to Hogan. All that. You could be doing all that. But to me, Hall threw a drink in Nash's face after acting drunk. I thought it was a great grudge match and a great story told. Even though, you don't like the whole drinking thing. It was part of the match, so I accept it. Nash hit 2 huge power bombs on Scott Hall. You just go watch this for the power bombs that Kevin Nash does. The second one, he muscles him up. I mean, he literally has to muscle him up, and he just tosses. Remember when The Undertaker did the last ride and he would lift him up? He didn't lift him up by his trunks like Undertaker would do. He literally just muscled him up and tossed Scott Hall. It was just tremendous. And Nash proved his point, so he just walks out of the ring and gets counted out. I thought this was really, really good, story-wise. I mean, Scott Hall was beating down Nash through most of the match, and then Scott Hall makes the comeback and just Nash makes the comeback, levels Scott Hall, and then just walks away and takes a count out. And they wrestled the next month at World War III, 1998, and that match was really good too, in my opinion. Can you guess what came out next?
The Nitro Girls?
Yes! Yes! Yay! 1 point for Nick. And then a match that should have been a barn burner. A match that should have been a classic, should have been amazing. Now, I will say, they told a good story in this match as well. But
it was a dumpster fire.
Bret Hart against Sting. Granted, it's Wolfpack red face paint Sting with a goatee, which looked really fucking weird. But hey, it's Sting, I'm going to give him a pass. I wrote potential to be a classic, but this was not a classic.
I want to say the best thing about this match after the referee got laid out was Bret Hart dropping the leg on the fucking referee.
That was great. So Sting is outside the ring. He's got his back against the ropes. He's standing on the apron, and Bret Hart, he goes to hit him, and Sting, knocks him out of the way with an elbow. And then the second time, the referee comes to, tell Sting to get back in the ring. Sting thinks that's Bret Hart, elbows the referee in the head, knocks him out. He's flat on his face. So what does Bret Hart do? Drops a leg drop on the referee. Of course you do.
Yes.
And then, that was funny. And then they do a superplex, and Sting's legs land on the referee's legs. That could have been bad, because if Sting had landed on his lower back with all his body weight, he could have broken the guy's back.
Yes.
It's lucky he didn't break his legs, or either of them break their legs. But and then Sting did a stinger splash onto Bret Hart, but he hit his head on the ring post, and so he was knocked out. Bret uses the baseball bat way too many times to the point that it looked ridiculous. And, of course, he was doing it so gingerly you could tell he wasn't even coming close to hitting him. Bret won with a sharpshooter because Sting was out. I mean, he was unconscious. So.
And I do believe this was the last time we saw Sting for a while.
Yeah, he didn't come back until later on in 1999, I believe, or early in 1999. Sting was stretchered out. It took way too long. It was like way over. It was like 6 minutes. And 6 minutes on a pay-per-view, that's a long time to all you're doing is stretchering somebody out of the building. And plus, at this point in the late 90s, 97, 98, 99, they were doing way too many ambulance and stretcher stuff. Way too much. I wrote, you didn't need to see him go all the way to the ambulance. You could have just had them wheel him back through the curtain, and you could have just went to the next thing. Which, I'm surprised wasn't more Nitro Girls. It wasn't. It was the worst wrestling match ever. Hulk Hogan against the Warrior. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Boogeyman. I'm the Boogeyman, and I'm coming to fall off the table.
He's coming to get you now.
To me, this is the worst wrestling match I have ever seen. Ever.
Can I say it? Dumpster fire!
This is a dumpster fire that somebody poured boiling oil on, and then
gasoline and lighter fluid,
and threw fireworks in, and used a flamethrower on the outside. It was just
a flash burn.
It was just
and you know why I said that?
They did a test of strength just like they did in WrestleMania 8 years earlier, because it was in 1990. Second match in a row where the ref gets bumped, and what does Hogan do? Drops the knee on the ref. Because, you wouldn't want him to do 2 leg drops in one match.
Oh, God, no.
I wrote, the crowd was dead for this match. Completely dead for this match. Nobody cared. Like you said, Hogan botched using flash paper to throw a fireball in Warrior's face. Bischoff put a headlock on Nick Patrick. I would have just disqualified him at that point for putting a headlock on me for over a minute. Horace Hogan came out, who had been hit by Hulk Hogan in the head with a chair the week prior on Nitro.
And with his belt.
Yep, so he hits Warrior with a chair. Hogan gets the win. It was bad. Bad doesn't even describe.
This was just so Hogan could get a win back from the Ultimate Warrior.
Right. And the build-up was cool. They did a lot of weird stuff with the Warrior, One Warrior Nation instead of, it's OWN instead of NWO.
Yeah.
I thought the lead up to it was good, but
it was.
It
was a dumpster fire.
There was no timing. There was nothing for this match. And then why I was harping on all this stuff that was happening, maybe 2 minutes into this where it's supposed to be the match, as soon as the two combatants in this match lock up, pay-per-view goes off the air because they went over their time.
No, it was as soon as DDP got thrown through the ropes and thrown to the outside.
Okay, yeah, whatever. But DDP versus Goldberg for the WCW title, a good match, and Goldberg retained. I mean, but if you didn't see it, you paid. I would say most people paid to see Hogan against Warrior because that was the big match. But a lot of people probably paid for this match as well. Maybe some people paid for Bret Hart against Sting. I doubt anybody paid to see Disco Inferno twice, or the Nitro Girls 5 times in a show, or all these fucking interviews that could have been done on Nitro or Thunder. But
yes.
So most people didn't get to see the main event, or pretty much everybody.
And we said this time and time again. If anything would have beat the streak of Goldberg, it would have been believable. The Diamond Cutter.
Yes, and this is something that I heard from the first time from Conrad Thompson, the podcast host. He came up with that and said, would it be absurd for DDP to have beaten Goldberg with the Diamond Cutter? The Diamond Cutter was the most established finisher on the planet at that point. It's a finisher that you could believe somebody could beat Goldberg with. It's believable. He beat everybody with that move. Nobody kicked out of it. Macho Man Randy Savage, one of the biggest stars ever, didn't kick out of the Diamond Cutter. I could have believed it. That's not an original thought by us. I just wanted to say that. But I agree. That's you could have done that. I'm not saying it was needed at that time, but it's something you could have done. It would have been. And Goldberg had the mystique. He didn't need the title. He's one of those guys that didn't need the belt. So once you ended the streak, a couple months later, he still didn't lose any of his luster. I mean, at Sold Out, the next pay-per-view, he had a ladder match with Scott Hall and tore the house down. It was amazing. So it didn't hurt Goldberg to lose the title, and I think it made more sense for him to win the title, for DDP to win the title, than it did for Kevin Nash to win the title.
Yes.
Granted, Kevin Nash was a huge dude, and, it's believable that he could beat Goldberg, but I think that the established move was better.
But the way that they ended it with the cattle prod, a cattle prod.
Oh, a Starcade, yeah, that was just dumb. But it wasn't a good pay-per-view to me. It was an episode of Nitro. I can see why you picked it because some of the matches were dumpster fires.
Yes.
I didn't enjoy it. I enjoyed 1990 a lot better. There are some good Halloween Havocs. There are some bad Halloween Havocs.
The really good one was the year before this one. 97.
90. Oh yeah, 97. 97 is just tremendous. So, but you picked good stuff. I got to admit, you picked good stuff. So, you got any idea what you're gonna pick for our next episode?
Let's go with a Monday Night Raw.
Okay, well, you definitely got to watch that Stranglemania video so we can review that.
When Kane lost his mask.
All right, I'll go with that. The Kane unmasking. We'll definitely do that. I like that. Sounds good to me. We'll do that one.
And let's do. Trying to think of the Monday Nitro that Vince Russo took over.
The one that he took over.
Yes, finally took over, and where they did a hard reset.
Oh, the one where they stripped everybody of the titles?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'm going to put Nitro Reset, and I'll know what that means. Damn it, Boogeyman! Are you drunk? Eating too many worms. All right, you're going to keep falling down. That's fine.
He ate too many damn worms over there.
The last thing I want... Do you have anything else you want to talk about, like Halloween-wise or anything that... What's your favorite Halloween? Doesn't have to be horror film, but what's your favorite movie to watch on Halloween?
Favorite movie to watch on Halloween? Friday the 13th, Part 6.
Which one's Part 6?
That one is hilarious. There's a lot of funny scenes in it.
Okay.
Hands down, best part out of the whole movie is once he kills the driver in the RV, and he just pops right out of the damn RV.
Yeah.
Right out of the top of it.
See, to me, my favorite movie to watch on Halloween is Ernest Scared Stupid. Well, I mean, Critters without a doubt, and Tremors, and but Ernest Scared Stupid, campy, ridiculous, but so good at the same time. Another one, Little Monsters with Howie Mandel and Fred Savage. Great movie. There's so many good things that you can watch on Halloween. You don't have to be a horror fan to find a good. And watch Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey if you want to see a fucking dumpster fire.
Yes. But if you want to go still along with Ernest goes to jail.
I'll recommend any of the Ernest movies, to be honest.
Still hands down, the funniest freaking scene out of that whole movie is him on the jury, and he bites the tip of the pen off.
Yeah, I to be honest, I don't remember. I haven't watched that one in years. I mean, the only one I really know really well is Ernest Scared Stupid. So, but Halloween for me, it's not my favorite holiday. Christmas is my favorite holiday, but I've always the first costume that I remember wearing was my mother. I don't know how she got somebody to make this. It was a Care Bear outfit. I was the one with the back when the Care Bears actually had the old school. They had the shamrock on it, the green bear. This looked like a mascot, like from an amusement park. It looked really cool. I know I have the picture of it.
Yes, you do.
I wish I still had it because I could probably sell it for good money because it looked really professional. But what's the first costume you remember wearing?
Oh God. Probably when we went around Aviation Mall and I did Superman that year. I was Superman.
The one that nobody understood but my friends that were with me. I was a teenager at the time. And then I've seen memes of this. If a teenager comes up to your house and wants candy, give them candy. They're just trying to have fun. They're not trying to ruin anybody's good time. Just, they're trying to be a kid again for a little while. It's Halloween. Give the goddamn kid some candy. But I was heavy into ICP at this point. I had dyed my hair blonde for graduation, and it was still pretty blonde, but it looked like Violent J from the Insane Clown Posse with the frosted hair. So I spiked my hair, I wore an ICP shirt, and I probably shouldn't have taken an actual real knife. I mean, it was a long, kind of like one of the long, sharp knives you cut bread with.
Yes.
And I had some cereal, like some Boo Berry and some Count Chocula, and those boxes. And I just shoved them onto this knife. So what was I?
A serial killer.
I was a serial killer. Nobody fucking got it. Nobody got it. I didn't care. We were having fun. We got a shitload of candy. My friends were high as a kite. My father was a corrections officer. I wasn't getting high. But they were having fun. So, but that's the one that I remember the most.
You want to talk about having fun for Halloween? Mm-hmm. My brother, Billy, dressing up like a nurse. A female nurse. And he called himself Nurse Scratchit.
Okay, well that says a whole lot about your brother.
He kept getting hit on by every single freaking guy that we walked across. Teenage boys, too.
Your brother?
Yes. Billy, ask him about it.
Thank God I was not there. Your friend at that point. Holy crap. But this will be coming out before, well, you're watching this. It'll be coming out before Halloween. So have a good time, be safe, enjoy your candy.
And always double check your candy, people.
Yeah, because, check it for your kids, and if they got good candy, eat it anyways.
Come on, candy tax.
Eat their Reese cups, Come on, you can't go wrong with Reese cups.
Being a parent, parents tax.
Yeah. But before we end this, I want to preview WWE's pay-per-view, or PLE as they call them now, Crown Jewel over in Saudi Arabia. Cody Rhodes against Gunther for the new Crown Jewel title, champion versus champion. I thought it was pretty funny that Cody said he's going to do it for his daughter, so his daughter knows that he won this title from a country where women have a lot of their rights taken away and they have to have most of their body covered, but he's going to win it for his daughter. Great example to set for your daughter, Cody, but whatever. My prediction, I've said this before, so it's on record. On Bad Blood, Gunther had an interaction with Goldberg where Goldberg jumped the rail and they it wasn't really a pull apart, but they stopped Goldberg from getting in the ring. I say Goldberg, the referee's going to get bumped at some point, or something's going to happen. Goldberg's going to spear Gunther. Cody's going to get the pin. That way Gunther has an out for losing the match. And he can say Goldberg, Goldberg's the one that beat me, not Cody. And I'm sure it'll probably lead to a match with Goldberg against Gunther, which is going to suck ass. Because Goldberg's going to knock himself out by spearing a turnbuckle or something.
The only way I would buy it is if they have Gunther Goldberg.
No, the only way it'll be a good match is if Gunther just chops the shit out of Goldberg for 5 minutes and pins him. That's the only good outcome that can come from that match. But that's my prediction. Goldberg interferes and costs Gunther the match. Another Crown Jewel title. Liv Morgan against Nia Jax, champion versus champion. For that Crown Jewel title.
Your favorite Nia Jax?
It's gonna. I predict Nia Jax is gonna win, and I wish it wouldn't because I love Liv Morgan as a character. I'm glad it's not title for title. It's just title against title.
Yes.
Because there's no reason that Nia Jax should be a double champion.
No.
And then Randy Orton against Kevin Owens. I think this is going to be a really good match. Mm-hmm. There's room. Kevin Owens' contract is coming up soon. There's rumors that he's leaving. If you watch the storylines, it would kind of lean towards the fact that he is leaving with the way that they're going to use him. So I think this will be good. The U.S. title, LA Knight against Andrade against Carmelo Hayes. I don't know how to feel about this match. I've never really been a fan of Andrade. And Carmelo Hayes was okay in NXT, but I just don't care about him anymore. LA Knight's the U.S. champion. He needs to stay that way, in my opinion. Unless you're going to do something really crazy where he's going to win a world title really soon, keep LA Knight with the title. Fatal 4-Way women's tag match for the women's tag titles. Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill against Damage Control, which I believe will be Io Sky and Kairi Sane, against Meta-4, which is, oh my god, I can't think of their names. I think I don't know if I put it down or not. Nope, I didn't. It's two of the women that recently came up from NXT. I'm sorry that I didn't do the names. And then Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. So, I'm not going to be like Jim Cornette and say it's going to suck just because it's a women's match. It might be a really good match. I'm going to watch it just because I want to watch it. But
right.
To me, the match that's going to be the most interesting, Roman Reigns and the Usos versus the Bloodline in a 6-man tag. There's some conjecture on if it's going to be Solo and Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu, or Solo and the Tongas, as the team. I think it'll be Solo and the Tongas with Jacob Fatu on the outside. And I wouldn't be surprised if they make it Bloodline Rules this coming Friday.
Right.
But I think it'll be really good, and I wouldn't be surprised to see when Jacob Fatu interferes to see Sami Zayn come out and do something.
Feeling oozy.
Yeah, so I think it'll be a good pay-per-view, I'm not going to lie. I think it's a pretty stacked card. Oh, I missed one. Seth Rollins against Bronson Reed.
Yes, they've been doing a really good storyline with these two.
Yeah, and especially after seeing the Bronson Reed-Braun Strowman feud, which was really good.
Yes.
I really think that this match with Seth Rollins and Bronson Reed will be good. So, all in all, I'd say this is a pretty stacked PLE, and I can't wait to watch it, to be honest.
Yes.
So we will review that on our next episode. Maybe we'll review ICP's Stranglemania because he has it, and I ordered a new copy of it so he can keep that one because I want a copy of it. And well, it was my copy anyways, but I wanted him to have a copy too. So I don't know what else we'll review. Well, we'll be doing those next picks, and we'll be talking some wrestling news, and if we go see any movies, we'll be talking about those. We won't be talking about the wrestling class. Well, we might. I hope not, because I don't think we'll wait that long to record.
Yeah.
But, so, I enjoy doing these. I hope you enjoyed seeing this episode. Hope you enjoyed seeing him play on his phone during them. I liked your Knicks picks. Yours was a dumpster fire, but it was fun to go back and watch it and do it.
I did it just to torture your fucking ass.
Yeah, right. As I said earlier, cheappops.redbubble.com for merchandise.
Merchandising.
At Cheap Pop Show on X or Twitter, and on Facebook as well. And cheappopshow.com. How could I forget that? That's mainly a gateway to our other sites. So, thanks for checking this out. I hope you follow our social media, and I hope you check out, like and comment, subscribe to all our stuff. Tell us we suck. Tell us what we're doing good. Just leave a comment. Subscribe. I think we're up to 42. I'd kind of like to get to 50. Well, I'd like to get to more than that, but I'd like to hit the 50 milestone. I'd like to know that some people are watching, and...
Hell, even if we tell us that we suck.
Yeah.
Like,
I can take it,
Yeah.
We've had it before. We had one guy comment that the show was horrible. I know people that don't think it's horrible. So either way,
It is what it is.
Yeah, so this has been Cheap Pops. I'm Dave.
I'm Nick.
Pop Guys out.